Artists seem to presume that like every single one of their fans is sitting there on social media, eyes peeled, also eyes peeled on their notification bar for when an email might come in, waiting for you to say anything. And the second you do, they will consume all of the message. And then if you ever repeat yourself, they'll be like, what the hell, dude? I just read this. I don't want to be a fan of yours anymore.
You are now listening to the Creative Juice podcast brought to you by IndiePRO.io.
What's up, Indies? Welcome back to Creative Juice. This is the podcast where we cover growing and monetizing a fan base and building a music career with marketing strategies that are working right now based on what we see every single day inside of our music marketing agency and across our community of thousands of artists and bands. I hope you enjoy and subscribe. This is episode 393. We're going to be talking about selling today. I'm your host, Jack McCarthy, and with me, as always, is Circa. Cirque, what's up, dude?
A lot, dude. Does this look good? I look like one of those Snapchat filters.
No, I think it looks good. You look good.
I'll just talk like this the whole podcast.
If you can pull that off, I'll be impressed.
I think I got it. I think I could do it.
All right, sick. Today we're going to be talking about selling. Here's what inspired this. I got an email last week from an artist. The subject line of the email was, "I can't believe it's finally here." I thought that was a pretty cool subject line, and I opened the email. And when I opened the email, the only thing that was in it was a picture of a vinyl and nothing else. There was no copy. There was no text. There was no greeting to me. There was no sign off. It was just a picture. There weren't any hyperlinks or anything. And I assume correctly now that this artist was trying to sell copies of their new record, and it felt like a swing and a miss. And I wanted to talk about it today and talk about very simple sales mistakes that we see artists make in the wild and how you can avoid them as you're trying to launch new music, new merch, new tour, whatever it is that you're trying to sell to your fans. Hopefully we can help you guys to sell with more effectiveness and avoid swings and misses like this email that I just told you about.
Yes. It should be good. We've done a few episodes in the recent past that kind of are around this area, this topic, but it's kind of one of the more important things for indies to do. So it's good that we're going over it.
Some of these tactics I think that we're going to talk about today are really simple. You just have to understand them and then apply them, which I sometimes think is the hardest part for artists, is actually just applying them, being comfortable enough to do this and not worry so much about coming off salesy or sounding a particular way or anything like that, wrecking the vibe. So we're going to talk about a few sales mistakes that we see out there in the wild. I wanted to share that story from that email marketing campaign as a good example of what not to do, and to kind of kick off like the first selling mistake that I often see artists make, which is not writing about what they are offering in a compelling way, even if what is being offered is really cool. And that email was a really good example of this because the subject line caught my attention, right? It was like, "I can't believe it's finally here." And when I opened the email, all I saw was a picture of the vinyl, the cover of the album art. And I was compelled to open the email. However, once I saw what was being offered to me, I really had no idea what it was or why I should care anymore. So any sense of desire that had built up between the click of the email and viewing what was being offered to me kind of died. There was nothing about the offer at all being made clear or compelling to me. And this is something that I see a lot. I'm on a lot of email lists for a lot of artists. And very often when I get email campaigns offering me something, it's not unusual to just see a photo of a piece of merch with like one line of text around it being like, "This is here now. You can go check it out. This is up in my store. You can go look at it." And that's kind of it. And I think driving clear messaging around what it is that you're offering somebody is kind of like the first mistake that I see. I didn't even really know what I was looking at in this email. And I think that happens a lot.
Yeah. It's almost like going out on a boat with a bucket and some bait and just throwing the bait into the ocean and looking at the ocean and being like, get in the bucket.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to just jump in the bucket, dude. You can't just get their attention and then be like, all right, go ahead, bye. You have to convince. There is a struggle. You have to hook them. I mean, this metaphor is probably, outgrown its stay. But that said, like, you do have to do something. I mean, that headline is great, right? The subject line is great. But you have to keep reeling. You have to, like, drive for, if you get a bite, that's when the work starts.
100%. Yeah. I think in addition to making an offer compelling, giving someone a reason to continue reading, which in the case of many of the emails and social posts and ads that I read, it's actually not really too difficult to start doing that. If you're scratching your head being like, what the hell are they talking about as far as being compelling? Well, we can get into what makes an offer compelling. And we've talked about this plenty on Creative Juice in the past, how to build offers. But when it comes to just starting the process of making something compelling, what I would encourage you to do as an artist is continue the story, right? When I open an email that says, I can't believe it's finally here, and then I see a photo of a vinyl, to continue to make that compelling to me, start to tell the story of what it is that you're about to offer and why you can't believe it's finally here. I locked myself away in the studio for 12 months making this record. I slaved over these songs throughout a breakup or the loss of a family member or something horrible or something wonderful going on in my life. Start telling a story, connect those compelling things about you as an artist to your fans, and use that to drive what it is that you're about to release. If you're going on tour for the first time in 4 years, talk about how excited you've been to announce this. Let that all out in the copy as you introduce the offer. I think like compelling offers 101 is about starting with storytelling, at least for artists, really for anybody, but especially for artists. It's about start with storytelling and don't be afraid to be a storyteller. And then we can get into like more clarity around the offer, what it actually is.
Yeah. I still to this day use AIDA, AIDA, attention, interest, desire, action. I kind of never stopped using it. I kind of always used it since I learned it, and it works. It's super good. It's super solid, and it's super easy to remember.
Yeah.
You never forget how to write a bit of persuasive words or how to persuade someone in general, right? Get their attention, build interest by showing them that you know their situation or gather information about their situation. And then like highlight or bring to the surface the pain points of their current situation, why they would want to change it, then build desire around changing it and slowly transition that to desire around your way of changing it, and then call them to action. Be like, here's how you can change it right now. It's ironclad. It's rock solid. You never need to know anything else, in my opinion. And certainly like all other frameworks you could learn for like crafting a persuasive flow are sort of downstream or derivative of that.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. I go back to AIDA all the time.
So that's kind of how I think about these things, think about structuring these things. And that could be across like, yes, your email could contain like subject line and maybe first 2 lines is attention. It could drive interest. It could do desire and action to the link that you want people to click. It could do all that. But then it could also serve as the attention component in a multi-component AIDA superstructure, right? It's like attention was the email. I'm going to build interest in the beginning of my, like the page you land on, and then build desire and then call you to action towards the end of the page. Or, like there could be multiple pieces of your marketing campaign that serve these different functions. So,
man, I'm so glad you brought this up because like desire and action, the second half of AIDA, that's like the core component to building clarity around what it is that you're offering. That's really where you start to get into telling your fans like, okay, I've got your attention now. We've started to build up some interest. I know that you're on the same page as me and that you're probably now, hopefully now, after I've told you what I've just told you, as excited about what I'm about to tell you as I am. And here it is. And in desire and action, that's where you get to be really clear about what it is that you want your fans to do next for the thing that you have for them, for the vinyl that you're about to drop, for your new single that's coming out, for the tickets for your upcoming tour, whatever it might be that you're about to sell, a new piece of merch, a new line of merch, whatever it might be. This is where you get really clear about this is what it is. This is how many of them there are. This is why I did it. This is why I'm hoping you'll be so stoked about it and why you want it and want to tell other people about it and how you do all those things. This is how you get clear. And I think clarity is like a selling mistake that I see artists make all the time. They don't present the details up front. They just kind of let the interest of their fans die on the vine.
Yeah. And I mean, probably most, like, at least the email that you read generated attention, right? Like,
yeah, got number one down.
Yeah, like most artists, most mainstream artists don't even do that with their email marketing. So yeah, the bar is super low.
Definitely. And this leans nicely, I think, into another selling mistake that we wanted to talk about today, which is no scarcity, no urgency. I think artists are afraid to use scarcity and urgency, and you don't need to be, because they're real. In most cases, they're real. And I'll explain it like this. In most cases that you're printing CDs or vinyl, you have a limited quantity. It might be a limited quantity of a certain variant, or it might be a limited quantity total that you've printed up. Tell people that. Make it scarce for that reason. It's okay to do that. It's okay to be upfront about the fact that there's only 1,000 of them. Conversely, when it comes to urgency, if you're offering something to your fans and maybe it has some bonuses attached to it, right? Maybe you're only signing copies of your record before you go on tour, because then you're not going to have time to sign anymore. Let them know this is only available until X date, or this is only available through the end of next week. We do this for sales promotions all the time. Labor Day, for example. Labor Day sale ends on Labor Day at 11:59 Eastern, and then the sale is closed. Then you will not be able to get the discount, or you will not be able to get the super special bundle that I put together. I think artists get really freaked out and nervous about using scarcity and urgency in their sales copy and in their selling. Even if it already exists, even if it actually is a thing, they're afraid to do it because they're like, oh, I don't want to sound salesy, when all it really does is stoke desire for your fans. You absolutely should do it.
Yeah, I mean, all these, like, it's just like, I don't even know why we have to entertain these arguments, but like, you might make the argument that like, oh, I have to build it. I have to do the attention, the interest, and the desire, and then tell them what the action is. Like, shouldn't I just call them to action as soon as possible? I don't want to waste anyone's time. What if someone's not into reading all this stuff? And it's like, sure. Will there be people that you might lose because you have all this preamble? Yeah, sure. Probably. We contain multitudes. But is that the majority case? No. The majority case is that you end up selling a lot better or getting the desired action to take place a lot more often than before you did it. Like,
yeah.
Otherwise, tons of people wouldn't do it. Like, it wouldn't work so well. It wouldn't be parroted across like everyone who has anything to say on the subject if it were the case that it doesn't work.
Ooh, to tack on to something about that argument for a second, right? If you have concerns that it's like, oh, do I have to really wind up this hard and do this much prep to sell something? And you're afraid of losing someone because of that. You will have the opportunity to recapture that person who might have left.
Right.
In a different place in the campaign.
In a different context.
Yeah, in a different context. Most likely, you'll get them with a short piece of copy that you're running as an ad, or you'll get them with the last chance email because they didn't read the first two emails because they thought it was too long. Then you get them at the last chance when they're like, oh shit, I missed this. I guess I should have read the other stuff. That's where you're going to capture those people. And you know what? Great. That's perfect. That's why we have multiple touch points.
Totally.
Ooh, oh my gosh, dude, the segues are unreal today. I can't believe it. The last mistake actually has to do with that. It's about frequency. the frequency that you talk about the things that you're selling. Artists don't repeat themselves enough.
Artists seem to presume that like every single one of their fans is sitting there on social media, eyes peeled, also eyes peeled on their notification bar for when an email might come in, waiting for you to say anything. And the second you do, they will consume all of the message. And then if you ever repeat yourself, they'll be like, what the hell, dude? I just read this. I don't want to be a fan of yours anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, like, none of what I just said is true. They're not looking at your social media. They don't have eyes peeled to their inbox. They miss 99% of all of everything that you ever say, if not more.
It's funny, man. I've heard like other businesses talk about this same thing when we'll be, you'll be like, there's a common idea that you need to follow up with your leads, right? If you're a local business, like you should pick up the phone and call people until you get them in the door. I've heard a lot of business people be like, yeah, but I don't want to seem too pushy in my follow-up because someone might leave me a bad review. No, they will not. They certainly won't. And the people that you're reminding of the cool things that you have to offer them are not going to stop being your fan because of that.
It's not that you follow up that turns people off. It's how you follow up.
Yeah.
That's just the case. If you're a super nice, congenial person and you're like not coercive, you are not manipulative, you just earnestly are like, hey, I don't want to annoy you. You can tell me to stop at any time, but I'm just following up just to make sure, like, maybe you forgot or maybe you do want to do this thing. Like, so it's me following up. Like, no one can get mad at that. And in fact, like, I have bought things just off the strength of like, this person is persistent. They seem to be honest and hardworking. I'm going to hear them out. I'm going to hear what they have to say.
Dude, me too. All the time. All the time.
They're not annoying. They're not the like nameless, faceless, like bots in my inbox with AI slop. Like they're a real person who's like taking time to write the message and they follow up. Like, I'm going to buy.
Yeah, me too. In fact, to give you guys like some tactical advice, if you are working on messaging for continuing to talk about an offer, and this applies to social media, this applies to email, this applies to text, ads, you can really put it anywhere, is in your follow-up messages, like provide a little bit of context. Something I like to do during like a sales period, for example, is in the second message that I might send or post, I'll be like, in case you missed it, a few days ago, we announced XYZ, and we've been getting a lot of really positive feedback about it. Let your fans know that other fans are responding positively. You can do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
When it comes to the last time that you might reach out or post about something, you can be like, hey, just a friendly final reminder. We're closing the doors for special thing tonight. And I didn't want anyone who would really want this to miss out on it. Like, that would break my heart if you missed out on it. So I'm sharing this. You can be that kind of real about it. It doesn't have to be gross or used car salesman-esque at all. And I want to additionally just put in your mind, like you said, Cirque, like fans aren't just waiting on social media to consume everything that you say about the first time you say it and act accordingly. We are, as humans, as business people, as artists, we are like last in line for attention for anybody else. They've got their mortgage, they've got their job, they've got school, they've got their kids or their family or their spouse. They've got a million other things that they're paying attention to throughout their day. So they're going to forget. They're going to not be paying attention. They're going to not look. They're going to go to your website and add to cart, and they're going to leave. They're going to go to their website and go all the way through checkout and then not have their credit card on them and have to come back. All of these things pull people's attention away. And so they need to be reminded, and that's okay. And that's the last one. That's the biggest one, honestly, because in addition to, like I said at the top of the episode here, the number of like unclear offers that I get in my email inbox, I also get a number of offers that I just see one email about them and then I never hear about it again. And I just think that's so crazy. And it's a huge selling mistake. Build in a cadence for yourself to announce, remind again, let people know that it's cool, close the cart. do a last chance or an absolute final call, you can build in multiple touch points and you can build them into your voice. And if you want to learn more about this, join us inside IndiePRO if you're trying to do this stuff for yourself, because it's a great place and we have a number of helpful kind of like email templates and things like this that you can use to build out a sales cadence inside of our sales all year round training. It's a great one. So you can check that out inside IndiePRO. And if you're interested in doing this kind of stuff and you're an artist that has a big old fan base and wants to monetize it, talk to us about IndieX or Indie Founder. We'd love to hear from you. We'll link to that in the show notes too. I just felt in the spirit of the episode of calls to action, letting you guys know where we can help you and at what level at IndiePRO might be appropriate. So check those out. But I hope this helps kind of clear out some selling mistakes that we see artists make all the time and give you guys a little bit of a roadmap for how you can resolve these for yourselves.
Yeah. And coming soon to IndiePRO, you'll have hands-on help with this kind of stuff. So you won't need to interpret our knowledge. You'll be able to sort of execute it in real time.
More to come on that for sure. Very exciting.
Hell yeah.
Well, I hope you guys go get selling. Take these lessons and go apply them today. And we'll see you guys next time on Creative Juice. Peace out, Indies.
Can y'all really feel the East Coast, feel the West Coast, feel